All right, everyone. Well, we've got about 30 minutes to the opening bell, and right now things are seeming a little slow, but of course, it is still early. What I'm hoping for, of course, optimistically, is some breaking news either at 9 a.m., which is in about 1 minute, or possibly just some news between now and the opening bell, or right maybe at the open. Either way would be fine. So this is just a little bit of a time to be sort of patient and wait for something that really looks good. We've had a couple stocks pop up. KOLD, not interested in that though. It's a natural gas ETF. You've got STIM that popped up earlier, but didn't take any trades on that. It is a stock that's easy to borrow, and the float's just a little bit higher, so I left it alone, which is fine. So as we sit right now, I don't have anything that I'm really in love with, which is disappointing. I was hoping that we might find something that looked good. But leading gapper, so I'll go through the routine. So pretty much the same every day. Looking at the gap scanner. So the leading gapper this morning is BHVN, and this is an acquisition. It's been bought out by Pfizer. Huge buyout, but almost 100%, 80% premium over, well, 70% gap up. So big premium over the price from yesterday. But because it's a buyout, it's going to trade fixed at this level. So there's no volatility in this. There's no real opportunity in it. VRM, this one is moving a bit higher, but is on the cheaper side. So I'm not sure if we're going to get any real opportunities on it. It just doesn't look to me like the type that I would do well on unless I took really big positions and was willing to just get 5 or 8 cents of profit. And I'd really like something more than that. It's also a little extended here off this move from $1.50. So leaving this one alone for right now. EVAX or EVAX is the third leading gapper, up 34%. It's at the 20 moving average on the 5-minute chart, so nice support there, and starting to curl up a little bit. But I'm going to leave that alone below VWAP right now. MICT, 67 cents. That's a bit too cheap. DRE, this one is a realty company. It's a bit too expensive. VTNR, 55 million share float. So, you know, you can kind of tell that you've got some gappers this morning, but I don't see a single gapper on there with a float of less than 10 million shares. It just so happens today that these are all slightly higher float gappers. SOS has some news this morning, 44 cents. Too cheap. So yesterday was a fairly slow day. I only traded the one stock. I can't even remember what the ticker was now, but I only traded the one stock, and that was it. So it was a green day. I did much better Monday and Tuesday last week than so far I have yesterday and today. But, that's the way it goes. Some days are, some weeks are going to be hotter, some are colder. And with the overall market being pretty weak yesterday, that weighs on things. So we are definitely in a, bear market right now. We're below the 200 moving average. We broke below it. So this is the type of market that you're not going to see as extreme levels of exuberance and volatility that we saw during a big bull market. So we have to be more cautious. We have to be willing to just take small base hits, lock up those gains, come back, try again. And, when we get the occasional really nice opportunity like we did on Friday, to make sure that those profits can tide you over for the coming days or maybe the next week or so. Because I think it's going to come kind of in little bursts like that, where we'll have 4, 5, 6 slow days, whatever it is, and then we'll have a day where something really goes crazy. So the problem is that what a lot of traders do is they'll lose money on the slow days, and then when they finally have the good green day, it's just making back losses. So you're not actually making money. And this is the thing in a bear market, in a cold market. If you can get through this market, it's showing you that you've got staying power. A lot of traders, they'll do well in a bull market, but then in a bear market, they just give back profit. And ultimately, you're going to be a better trader if you can get through the slow periods without giving back too much. So of course I'm green on the year, and making some profit, making some money. So I'll put up the reminders always that my results are not typical, and I've been doing this for a long time, and there's no guarantee for success, whether you follow me or you're learning from me or whatever the case is. You shouldn't blindly follow me, but just if you're learning from me. But the thing for me is that this has been a slower year, but I can still make money in a bearish market. I just have to be disciplined, and I have to be patient. In a bullish market, you can get away with holding through pullbacks because things rally for the second move up. And in a bear market, you hold through a pullback, and the pullback just gets bigger and bigger and bigger. So you do have to be a bit mindful of the market that you're in. And also remember how quickly market sentiment can change. We could have good news that comes out of Ukraine, I hope, at some point, and that could change sentiment significantly. Or, things could just continue to be the way they are, or they could get worse. So you just have to remember the market can change on a dime, and you want to be here to be able to capitalize on the opportunities when they present themselves. So I'm showing up every day. There are some traders that maybe did so well during the bull market that they're going to step back during the bear market and just, not trade much at all. And that's fine if you have other sources of income and other things to do. For me, I'm going to keep trading. I understand that I'll make a little bit less than when we're in a bull market, but I don't really mind. So, yeah, and I see VRM, Candyman. I see what you're saying there. I was thinking about it. Come on, go again. And it is a second leading gapper, but I just don't know if we're going to see the follow through. Maybe. I hadn't noticed the IPO, but I haven't. So the last few IPOs that we saw were not, the small cap IPOs were pretty brutal. This is not a great time for a small cap to be IPOing. So I wouldn't have high hopes for a small cap IPO right now in this market. But again, it doesn't mean it's not going to go. It just means I'm not willing to take the risk on it. So I'm going to be a little bit more cautious with what I'm willing to trade, what I'm willing to take risk on. Reminder again for those just getting tuned in, 3 p.m. today, I'll be hosting a mentor session, and we'll be prioritizing questions from students with a Star Student badge. So those who have gone through and finished their final exam of the starter course or the small cap course. So that'll be at 3 p.m. Yes, I saw FRGE on the daily. Yeah, it's moved higher, and well, I guess it pulled back yesterday, but you've got this pivot up there around 35, but you don't have news that's sending it through that level back to the highs. That's what you need. You need news, really good news on it. I don't know what percentage of the time I actually hit my profit targets. I'm not sure. I haven't really looked at what percentage of the time I hit the target that I set. STIM curling back up a little bit, but still below the volume weight average price. Okay. I've got about 20 minutes to the opening bell. All right. Just adding something to the Warrior Pro classes there on the algo on that ETF. Yeah, high on VTNR this morning was 1236. You can see it curling up a little bit. Your high back there was, let's see, 1432. Hey, welcome back. Yeah, thank you guys on YouTube for hitting a thumbs up for the morning show. We've got about 15 minutes to the opening bell here. Well, I think the overall market right now is bouncing off of 400, the S&P off of 400. We had the drop into the close, but then we recovered pretty quickly, closed after hours just under 400, and we were back above it pre-market. So psychological level, it did break, but we got back above it. So this might just be a relief bounce and then another stair step down, right? Stair stepping down. We'll see. So only 10 minutes to the opening bell. I'm keeping myself occupied, not going to stare at charts that aren't moving or stare at level 2s and get tricked into buying something when there's nothing really going on. Thank you, folks who are tuning in. So working on a card here. Let's see if I can get that in focus. Gonna send this out to a special member who is just come out of a 30-day coma. So that's heading your way. We're thinking about you. Keep your head up. So we've got about 8 minutes to the opening bell. USO, United States Oil Fund, yeah, back at 76. It was kind of looking like maybe that was going to creep through the highs, which might have given us some nice momentum on some energy stocks, but it's pulled back now again. VTNR, seems like there's hidden buyers and hidden sellers on it. So a little bit of tug of war there. I don't really want to get into that. Just leave that alone for now. So, you know, here with 6 minutes to the opening bell, just about, our gap scanner, and if it was a hot market, we would say the same thing. This is not a very good gap scanner. The top 10 gappers all have floats well over 10 million shares. We know that we prefer lower floats because those are the type of stocks that can make bigger percentage moves. You want a stock to make a big move because you never capture the whole thing. So capturing a small piece of a big move is something you can work for. Capturing a small piece of the VTNR 15-cent move is not enough to me. So, and unfortunately, you go in on some of those and you end up turning it into a big loss as it flushes. Every trade carries risk. So yeah, as we sit here right now, I just don't see anything that I can get excited about on the gap scanner. Okay, so setting aside the gap scanner, there's no gappers that look good. All right, well, then what else would I focus on? Well, I could watch daily charts for continuation, but the problem with daily charts for continuation is that those stocks are not going to be super obvious because they're not gapping up, they don't have a catalyst, and in this market, I don't think we can trust it. Okay, so we got to set continuation aside for right now. So then what next? How else do we find stocks to trade? High day Momo scanner. Well, nothing is hitting the high day Momo scanner at the moment because nothing is hitting high of day with strong momentum based on the filters and the criteria that I've set for being something worth trading. So we just have to be patient. And one of the challenges, definitely with trading on the high day scanner on a day like today when there's not a lot of clear conviction, is that you could just have stocks that just pop up and then jackknife. They do a hard reversal. So usually I'm more inclined to trade off the high day Momo scanner on a day where I already have a cushion from the gap scan. I don't have any cushion from the gap scan. I have no trades today. So the first stock that hits the high day Momo scanner, I'm not going to jump in it, right? I just couldn't. It has to prove itself. So I'll have to wait for the first pullback, and it has to really open up. And, you know, that may happen, but, you know, I'm not sure it will. So I never like to have a no trade day, but this is better than a red day. Certainly you can see John and Jess and some of the other folks here who have their profitability badges were a little more aggressive than me today. I saw trades on VTNR, I saw trades on STIM. Neither of them are set up right now. So I may have left a little bit on the table, but you know, I hope it's not, it doesn't feel like I've left too much on the table. And I think for me, I'm still feeling a little bit better, being a bit more cautious. And so that's what I'm going with right now. And that's okay. All right, so 3.5 minutes to the opening bell. It looks like today may be a day where I get some more work done for Warrior Pro members on the classes, since it doesn't look like there's going to be a ton of stocks to trade this morning. But that's fine. Warrior Pro members, 3 p.m. Eastern, we'll be hosting a mentor session, same as last Tuesday. We'll be prioritizing questions from traders with a Star Student badge. That means you've passed the final exam of the small cap class. Not much with it, Kevin. It's just, you know, a back burner, you know, project, but it's just for fun. Just haven't had much time for it. Okay, so 2 minutes to the opening bell. Good luck for those that are going to be active today. I will be sitting here. I'll be looking for something to become obvious. We're sitting and waiting. Maybe something pops up, given that there's a lot of traders out there that are sitting and waiting this morning. If something starts to open up, maybe you'll get some follow through, but I'm just going to wait for that to happen. Those that have been tuned in here on YouTube, thank you guys for being here. You could check out, if you have some extra time today, you could check out a link to my simplest strategy for beginner traders. That'll be up top right there. And I'm going to put another link right here, or I'll put it right down there for gap trading. If you haven't checked that out, you could check that out as well. And I'll remind you, as always, trading is risky. My results are not typical, so please take it slow.